Hello and welcome everyone at Allianz Arena. Bayern Munich's looking forward, as do the fans, to starting the Champions League season tomorrow against Manchester United. Welcome to the press conference, part one with Harry Kane.
Thanks, hi Harry. And welcome, of course, also to the English media representatives all over there. Okay, yeah, let's go. Start with the questions. Please give us a sign and wait for the microphone. Who will be the first? Wer möchte starten? In der Mitte hier oben Heiko Niederer für die Bild-Zeitung. Das Mikrofon nach oben. Augenkontakt, ja. Wie du magst.
Hello, Harry. Hi. There was a lot of rumors this summer also about English clubs. Can you tell us how was it from your side? Was for example, Manchester United ever an option for you, or other clubs in England? And why did you decide in the end for Bayern?
Yeah, to be honest, obviously over the summer, I know there were some talks between a few clubs in the background. But then, yeah, Bayern was, a team I was really interested by and really excited by. So there wasn't too many, other discussions. Once they come in, obviously it was between them and Tottenham to talk, and then the deal got done. So yeah, my focus is on here. Obviously, Manchester are a great club, a really big club as well. But I just decided to come here, and I'm really happy I have.
Dankeschön. Dann auf der linken Seite Taufik Khalil für den Bayerischen Rundfunk.
Well, Harry, between Bayern Munich and Manchester United, there's a lot of history. The biggest match, they call it here, the fans, the mother of all defeats, was in 1999. I think you were almost 6 years old. I don't know when you started to watch football on TV. Can you remember it? Have you seen it? Have you followed it? What do you have in mind with that special defeat in Barcelona?
Yeah, I wasn't watching it live, but of course over the years I've seen the highlights of that game, and yeah, obviously a tough game for Bayern Munich to take for sure. When you're 1-0 up and with a few minutes to go and you end up losing, it's obviously a really sour taste. So I could imagine that one still hurts a little bit. But yeah, it's been a long time since that match. A lot has changed, so for us, we're just excited to hopefully give these new fans, more memories, and hopefully a better memory than that one.
And here in the Mitte, yes, please.
Hi, Harry. You've been here 5 weeks at the club now. During that time, have you been able to get an understanding and appreciation of the kind of stature of Bayern Munich and the history of the club? And have you spoken to any sort of legends about that?
No, not really, not specifically. Before I came here, I knew how big Bayern Munich were. Obviously, being here now, I'm just really enjoying the new surroundings, the new feeling. Even though it's been 5 weeks, obviously I've been back and forth with the international and the birth of my fourth child. So still don't think I've fully kind of settled into everything yet. I think that takes a little bit more time, but I think over the course of the season, I'll get to know more and more about the club itself, and get to speak to some of the big names who have played here before, and yeah, of course, I'm looking forward to those experiences.
Left side, please. Yeah.
Harry, I was going to ask why it was Bayern, but just walking around, seeing the facilities in the training ground, you can obviously see why. But in terms of the move and the start of the move, could it have gone any better for you here? And just your thoughts on Spurs actually playing well without you in the team now as well, and things going on back at home.
Yeah, no, I think it's been a good start for me here for sure. I think whenever there's a big transfer, there's always a little bit more pressure and expectation going into the first few games to see how you start. And yeah, really pleased, to score the 4 goals so far. I still think personally I can play better in the games that I've played, and I think that will come, just getting to know my teammates more and the system and the way we play. So there's definitely room for improvement in my all-round game, but it's always good to score with 4 goals in 4 games for sure. In terms of Tottenham, yeah, fantastic start. I'm always keeping an eye on them. I think I'll keep an eye on Tottenham for the rest of my life, and really happy to see the team playing the way they are, and of course to see their fans happy as well is a great thing. So I'm sure they'll be excited to keep that up. They have a massive game coming up. So yeah, for sure, I'll see how they get on over the course of the season.
Nächster Stefan Kumberger für Pro7 Sat.1 Germany.
Hi Harry, how's your connection to Thomas Tuchel? How do you work together, and could it be an advantage for you that he worked in England some days?
Yeah, no, I think, we've got a good relationship. Just like any player manager, he's always pushing players to improve and get better, and that's been no different with me. There's no special treatment because I'm a new player or a big player. He treats me the same as everyone else. So, no, we have a good relationship. I think, I can learn a lot from a manager like him. He's managed at some of the biggest clubs in the world and been really successful. So, as a player, I'm always looking to pick up different things and, ideas or tactics that can help my game. And again, it's still early days, but I think he will help me do that as a player. So, I'm sure, he's been fairly satisfied with the start, but I think we all know we can improve a bit better, as a team, and that will come throughout the season.
Last row, please, yeah.
Hi, Harry.
Hi.
Obviously, there's the possibility that you could find yourself up against Harry Maguire in this match. I'm just wondering what you thought of what he went through at Hampden last week, and also the suggestion that maybe for his own good now, that Gareth Southgate should maybe take him out of the firing line with England. Yeah,
look, I think H has, come under some really unnecessary scrutiny. Probably been scapegoated a little bit in terms of, the way the team have gone over, recent times. So, look, I know he's a really good friend of mine. He's a great guy, really hard-working professional. From an England point of view, been one of our best defenders in, recent times, and I'd go as far to say one of our best defenders over, the history of our country. So, in an England shirt. So, look, it's part of our game now. It's part of football. You're scrutinised all over on social media, etc. But knowing him, all you want to do is work harder and improve and get better and stay focused. And we're fully behind him as a national team. I know the coach come out and backed him fully. So there's always going to be noise around players, and the important thing is that we have a really strong core within our team with England, and that's the most important thing going into big games and big tournaments.
Third row, Sky Sports, yeah.
Hi, Harry. Harry, just as a striker, does it give you extra confidence maybe to come up against a Manchester United defence that has been conceding freely in recent games? And just to follow up on the lifestyle questions, how are the German lessons going, and the golf with Thomas Müller as well? You've got that?
Yeah, no, in terms of United, obviously they've been going through a bit of a tough spell recently, but sometimes that can be really dangerous because, they're looking for a big response, and we need to be careful of that. We're at home, we want to dictate the game, we want to play the way we want to, but they have some threats as well that we really need to be careful of. So I don't like to think too much about, the form that the team are in, because every game can be different. So I just need to perform the way I know I can and the team can, and hopefully we can create some good chances. In terms of the German lessons, early days yet. There's no further along in terms of my German, but we've got plenty of time to learn, so I'm sure I'll keep you up to date on that. And golf, I've been golf once with Thomas. We just played the 9 holes on one of the local courses, so it's good to just get to know the players, get to know a bit of team bonding, and try and switch off from football every now and then. So it's been nice to have that relationship.
Second row, please, yeah.
Harry, Bayern performed pretty well in the Champions League quarterfinals against City last season, but obviously went out. Erling Haaland proved something of a game changer for them, and they went on to win the competition. Do you think you can be that game changer for Bayern this season and help them deliver that Champions League that they so want again?
I think obviously time will tell. For sure, there's a reason that Bayern Munich brought me to the club, and they're really, of course, eager to try and get back to winning the Champions League. And they feel I can be a big help, and obviously I feel I can help the team as well. Again, time will tell on how the game plays out. We have to first focus on the group stage and making sure that we qualify, and starting well tomorrow night will be important. But that's why I'm here. That's why I want to be playing in these competitions at the highest level, to try and help my team win the trophies. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out.
And the neighbour, please. Yeah.
Hi, Harry. United have had a tough start to the season, obviously losing 3 of the last 4. Players injured, players unavailable for other issues. I know teams are obviously wary of a backlash, but do you and your teammates sense this is the perfect time to play them, in the sense that their confidence is low, the form's low? This would be the perfect time to take on Manchester United?
I don't know about the perfect time, because like I touched on a bit earlier, there can be a big response from teams who are going through a difficult spell, but of course we have to use circumstances to our advantage as well, and we need to go with a big confidence. We're at home in front of our fans. It's important to start the game on the front foot and really try and put the pressure on the opposition. So that's what we'll try and do. Of course, I touched on they've got some big threats as well, and counter-attack, they have some really quick players, so we need to be wary of that. But overall, it's a game that we want to try and dominate and try and keep the pressure on, and hopefully break down as the game goes on.
Right behind, please.
Hi, Harry. There was some talk in the summer that you being so close to the Premier League goal-scoring record might come into your thinking about whether you wanted to move or not. Did it ever come into your thinking when you wanted to move, and how do you balance that sort of individual records against the chance to win team trophies here?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was, something I was thinking about. Of course, there was a lot of noise around it, and I completely understand that, being so close to the record. But those individual records are, never been something that I solely focus on. They're a consequence of hard work and doing my best for the team. And as time goes on, you get closer and closer. But ultimately, for me, it was about how can I push myself, how can I get better, and I felt like challenging for Champions League, challenging for titles every year was the best way to put myself in that situation. So that's why I chose Bayern Munich, and that's why I'm here now. And that's where my focus is at the moment.
One more on this side.
Hi, Harry. Leading on from that question a little bit, how have you found the adjustment from a club where you were hoping to win matches and try and challenge for titles to actually being at one where the expectation is there every single week?
Yeah, that's part of the pressure you face, for sure. I've said before, with every club, with Tottenham as well, every season you go in to try and win every competition without a doubt, and that's always the aim, and that's the same here. But obviously when a team like Bayern have won it for 11 years in a row, the expectation from the outside and maybe the whole club in general is that it has to be done, and you don't want to be I don't want to be the player who don't win it for the 12th season in a row. So that's the aim for me, and that's the aim for the team, is to continue to be successful, of course, in the league, to be more successful in the cups, because as a club, as a team in the cups recently, we haven't been as successful. So that's hopefully something I can help change around.
Dann rüber auf den deutschen Flügel, Klaus Bergmann für die DPA.
Hello, Mr. Kane. Is the Champions League the biggest goal for you here in Munich? And what do you think about the final in Wembley?
Look, the Champions League is a big goal, of course, but for me, I'm not just solely focusing on that. I want to win all 3 competitions that we're in. And every game we prepare in the same way, whether it's the Champions League or the Cup. We prepare in the same way as we would any other game. So, of course, it's the biggest competition in Europe. So to win the Champions League would be a dream come true, and having the final at Wembley would be obviously extra special for me, being my national stadium. But again, that's a little too far ahead. I never get carried away. First of all, we start tomorrow night, and we have a difficult group to get through. And then hopefully come the new year, we'll be in a good place to try and push towards that final.
Kommen wir zu den letzten Fragen allmählich. Bitte, Carrie Howe für Sport 1.
Hi, Harry. Matis Tell had some very good games recently. Scored a late winner against Mönchengladbach, delivered an assist against Leverkusen. How do you rate his development, and do you think he could be already ready to play alongside you in the starting 11?
Yeah, no, he's been really good. You know, he's had a really good start to the season. What I've loved most about him is, you know, the way he trains. He trains with a real purpose and desire to improve and get better. And at his age, that's, you know, all you need to ask from a player. Of course, the decision will come down to the coach. That's his job. But you know, he's had a really good impact whenever he's played, and that's what we can do. So I'm sure, you know, he's excited and confident with his form, and it's great for us as a club, because if we want to be successful, we need all 20-odd players in the squad to have an impact whenever they play.
Next seat, yeah.
Hi, Harry. It's a really nice thing that you said about Harry Maguire. I think we can all agree. But if he plays tomorrow, how would you feel about potentially making it worse for him?
Yeah, but look, this is football. You know, I've come up against, you know, friends or teammates before, and I think once you get onto the pitch, you know, your competitiveness comes out, and you want to obviously do your best for your team. Nothing else really enters your mind. So that's not something I'll be thinking about. Like I touched on there, I think Harry's a great guy, a great professional. You know, a lot of young players can look at him and his journey to hopefully motivate them and push them to be footballers one day as well. But yeah, if he plays tomorrow night, you know, that friendship goes away for 90 minutes, and I do my best for Bayern Munich to try and score goals and help my team.
Eine letzte Frage, ganz oben links bitte. Ja.
Hi, Harry. There's two names that they are getting the attention in Europe, Jude Bellingham and Jude. There's no secret that your performance in Bundesliga are being great. I was wondering if Jude Bellingham gave you any advice before come to Germany to compete, and also, do you think that the English players are also ready to play away in England? Because it's not secret that there's not many England players away the Premier League.
Yeah, so I didn't actually talk to Jude until, you know, the most recent camp where we was talking about his time here. So in terms of my decision, you know, it wasn't influenced by Jude, but obviously, you know, I saw how he got on at Dortmund and in the Bundesliga, and you know, the way he was playing and enjoying his football. So that was great. And yeah, he's had a great start to obviously life at Real Madrid as well. So I'm really, really happy for him. In terms of English players, you know, people have their own journeys, and you know, the likes of me and Jude, you know, made decisions based on what we think's best for us. And if that motivates players, or, you know, gives other young English players or English players in general, you know, the feeling to go abroad and do the same, then that's great. I think players should be pushing themselves to play at the highest level they can, and never, you know, be comfortable with where they're at. Always try and push to another level and see what's available. And yeah, that's what I've tried to do, and hopefully that motivates others to do the same.
Okay, thanks, Harry. Dankeschön. Wir sind gleich zurück mit Thomas Tuchel.
Thank you.
We'll be back with Thomas Tuchel.
Okay, welcome back. Teil 2 der Pressekonferenz vor dem
Part
Auftakt
2 of the
Champions
press
League morgen hier gegen
conference
Manchester United, jetzt mit Thomas Tuchel,
for the
unserem
start of the
Chefcoach.
Champions League
Wir legen
tomorrow.
los, wir
Now with
machen
Thomas
weiter.
Tuchel, our head
Anzeige bitte
coach.
schön in der Mitte am
Let's
höchsten, die Hand
continue.
von Hoffmann für Sky. Ja.
Thomas, Manchester ein bisschen
Thomas,
sag mal, verhalten in die Saison reingestartet.
Manchester started rather timid into the season, 6 points after 5 games. Why is it still an uncomfortable opponent, and what is the strength of the team?
Ja, ich glaube, dass es nicht so viel aussagt über sie, weil
I don't think that it says too much about the team because in a game you can never be sure about Manchester United. Even when you think that you control the game against them, then it's the most dangerous point because they accept being without the ball and accept to suffer standing deep because they have really good transition game with Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, Højlund. They have really high quality and lots of speed, and you need to be alert and awake and be clever as far as the positioning is concerned. You can really never switch off. And I know that the start, as far as the points are concerned, is not very satisfying for them. But when you think about the last game, for example, you see 20 very strong minutes where they should have led by 1 or 2 goals against Brighton. And then it's always complicated to play against Brighton because they have a certain playing style. And there are only a few teams that really doing a good job against Brighton, but they never were out of the game. And like I said, it's always dangerous, high individual quality, and particularly in the offensive transition situations. If you ask the fans about big rivalries, they always tell you Manchester United and the final 1999. Have you seen the game at that time? Were you devastated or not because of the things that happened in the final minutes? It's not going to matter for the game tomorrow, but the fans still think it's something special. Yeah, I really think Bayern Munich against Manchester United is a big game. 2 big clubs in Europe that are playing against each other in the Champions League is a big game, and we're not going to talk lightly about it. We are proud to be part of it, and we want to play our part so that the fans will be able to enjoy it. The rivalry should be led peacefully, but really on a sporting basis, and that's what we are trying to do and to carry our teams along. As far as that game is concerned, it was extreme because Bayern Munich had so many chances to make it 2-0. They were hitting the upright and had chances here and there, and then 2 dead ball situations in a short period of time changed the game. I was pretty much speechless because you knew the most famous last minutes of Bayern Munich, and that this could happen against them was making this game really special, and everybody who was at this game and who watched the game would never forget it. Bayern did everything to win the game deservedly, but sometimes those bitter moments happen, and they create a certain hunger to change things around. And I guess that was the case that got them a few more percentage points to win the Champions League 2 years later, even though at that particular moment it definitely felt devastating for everybody involved. Decisive situation in the league with lots of games coming thick and fast. Everybody wants to be involved. Now you got Rafael Guerreiro in your squad as well. How do you handle the players and their demands and their competitiveness, and when you have to disappoint someone as well? I think the clearer that we make our decisions, that we communicate our decisions, the better it is for everyone. On the other hand, it is a small squad in some positions, but hopefully we will get a few difficult decisions to make, because that will make the team even better that is on the pitch, and that will make our bench stronger as far as the impact is concerned that they can bring to the game. And like you said, it's continuing 3 games a week, every week until the winter break, and so we need everybody in the squad. We need the mentality, and to receive a difficult decision against you is something, well, you need to swallow. That is part and parcel of playing for Bayern Munich. A father of a player at Chelsea once told me that it's not part of the contract of his son not to play, and he said he needs to give everything he can in practice, so the coach takes a decision, and it's a fact. No player has really written down the minutes that he's allowed to play, and everybody has to do a job to make the team successful, and you need disappointment every now and then, and we are in the best way. We had really good impact from the bench so far, and that's the way it has to be. Tomorrow, the game, you have to watch it on from the stands. Can you talk us through how the communication will go? Will you be at the VIP lounge or closer to the pitch? And why do you think Julian Nagelsmann is the right man for the German national team? The question is, why not? Julian has the quality. The German Football Federation made the decision. He made the decision. And that's the biggest thing, that the decision was being made. And now we can be looking forward and be involved positively in the things, so everything will be good. As far as the first question is concerned, I don't really know how things will gonna turn out. I know that I will be allowed to drive to the stadium with the team, but not be with the team during the game at the stadium until after 15 minutes after the game. I can be in contact with the team. I will not be allowed to have contact with them. I guess there will be a lounge where I will be able to watch the game. It's not pretty, but we don't have to talk about it because that's the way it is. And we have a strong coaching staff, and my assistant coaches will definitely do their job and to have the quality and have the energy. And I will try to give them energy from the stands as well. So we will make it together. At Bayern Munich, success is pretty often measured by the success in the Champions League. Is it the same with you, and what do you expect, and how much are you looking forward to it? It is one of the toughest competitions in the game, and one of the most beautiful competitions as well. Having games under the floodlight on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights is a big privilege to play in those games, and so I'm looking forward to being involved in those games regularly. I don't want it to be normal. I want it to be special and to qualify for those games, and not just play along, but play for the top spot in the group and play in the knockout rounds and go as fast as possible, or as far as possible. It is a pressure that really makes fun, and you can only wish for that. At least I do. And that starts anew every season. It's always a challenge to play in a group, every opponent, and everyone from pot 3 and pot 4 has a different plan, a different approach. Every group is difficult. Tomorrow, obviously, we start with an absolute top game of 2 huge teams in Europe, but the group is going to stay complicated. Other than that, I'd be very surprised. So we have to be prepared as well as we can and play to our limits to reach our goals. And our goals are obviously high. We want to be competitive in every competition and win every competition. One more question about the coaching staff. Will one assistant from you be like the head assistant? And Jamal Musiala, he came into the game, and will he be available for the starting 11? Can he play alongside Thomas Müller? Well, obviously they can play together. Jamal is ready to be in the starting 11. But we have the recommendation to not play him 90 minutes. 60 to 75 minutes will probably be possible. So now we have to decide whether he will start or not. We haven't made up our minds yet. He can play alongside Thomas Müller. As far as the offense is concerned, we have lots of players to choose from. And we will decide tomorrow. And my two assistant coaches that are usually sitting next to me on the bench, Jolt and Anthony, they will share the duties as we do during games anyways.
Hi, Thomas. You touched earlier on what it takes to earn a place in your starting lineup. Eric Ten Hag has spoken last week about the standards that he's trying to instill at Manchester United. From your experience, what are the challenges that brings as a manager managing such a big club, Chelsea and Bayern Munich and Manchester United in terms of Eric Ten Hag?
Well, I felt Man United always like a lot of noise going on around Man United. A lot of pundits in the UK are ex-players from Man United. So you have this legacy from Sir Alex Ferguson, which creates a lot of pressure, which creates a lot of expectations all the time around Manchester United. It just tells you, if it's like this, it just tells you in that you work in a big club with big expectations, with a big name and a big prior success, that all of us, me here in Bayern and my colleague in Manchester United, we want to achieve the same things, and that comes with a job. So I would not say that's an advantage for us. I think it's pretty common around Man United that sometimes little things become a bit bigger in this club than in any other club, or maybe just the talking about it is a bit more noisy than in other clubs. I think within, I can only assume, and what I know, that they coach an environment where players can grow, where players can reach their top level. This is what we're trying to do, to install principles, to install rules, and to create a winning culture. And this is what we all try to do. And this is for me also evident to see if I watch Man United play. The results maybe don't speak the same language, but they are a team full of quality and a club full of winning culture. So we will never underestimate that.
Mitte oben, Mark Gabel für RTL.
Hallo, Herr Tuchel. Auch wenn es jetzt morgen nicht.
Mr. Tuchel, even though you're not going to be on the bench tomorrow, what is more difficult to have Eric Ten Hag as a former Bayern Munich player for the second team, and he knows the club, but you know the Premier League and Manchester United as well. Well, I think these days the team that analyzes games from us in Manchester United, they make it without surprises pretty much. He doesn't have an advantage working for Bayern Munich in the past. I don't have an advantage as I've worked for the Premier League in the past. The transfer windows change the teams as such. We feel well prepared. It's not nice that I'm not allowed to be on the sideline, because it's a big part of the coaching is the live coaching during games, making decisions, whom to substitute. Will we change our system? Will we change a couple of players here and there? Will we change personnel? I will be going to miss it, and it's probably not an advantage that I'm on the stands, but we will see, and it should be a one-off. But I'm really trusting us that we will prepare it as well as we can, and that my two assistants will be coaching them perfectly on the sideline.
It's your turn.
I did ask.
No, we didn't ask? Okay, then we move up to this row, please.
Hi, Thomas. I think a lot of people in England expected Harry Kane to be playing in a Manchester United shirt at the start of this summer. Were you surprised that United didn't seem to make a big bid for him. He's, or maybe other English clubs, given he's the captain of England and the all-time record goal scorer for England. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a big thing. We took the skipper of England, out of Premier League. It's a huge deal and a big transfer, and we're very happy. I think anyone who's looking for a number 9 would have been happy to have Harry in the team. Anyone in Europe, because he makes your team better, and he gives you what you expect from a number 9: personality, goals, quality. He can drop deep. He can drop deep on a number 10 position, turn and use the speed of the players around him. He can arrive in the box in the right timing. He has excellent finishing. He's a good penalty taker. So everybody wanted to have him, and I'm not sure about what was going on in other clubs, but we are more than happy that finally he took the decision and to join us and make us better.
One row behind, yes, please.
Hi, Thomas. As the club that got Harry Kane ahead of other clubs such as Manchester United, how much confidence does that give you that he can be the difference maker in games like this, in this competition?
He will always be a difference maker in any game. So not only in the big games, and not only by goals. I think he gives us a lot of personality. I think with time he will make our players around him better. He will learn how to make them shine. He will learn how to use their skills. He will assist also. He will not only score, and he will be the difference. And he is already the difference. Not only him, but he is part of us making the difference, and that is very, very important. That's why we relied heavily on this transfer. That's why we had a lot of confidence that we are doing the right thing, and he will prove us right. I'm 100% convinced, and there is no doubt about it.
Dann rüber zu Carrie Howe für Sport 1, bitte.
Hallo Herr Tuchel, Sie haben die Energie angesprochen, die von der
You were talking about the energy coming from the bench with Mathys Tel. He came from the bench. He was assisting a goal or scoring one in 2 games in a row. Will he be part of the starting 11 in the future? And the other question, did you talk to Jo Kimmich after he was substituted? No, we didn't, because we were talking about 60 minutes for him, and that's all it was. And Jo had a reaction afterwards and a bit of a problem, and he was hurting a little bit, so we made everything right, sticking to our plan. Obviously, Jo wants to stay on the pitch, and when he's high on adrenaline in the middle of a game, and that he forgets about us making a decision beforehand, is something I can totally understand. So it's not a problem. As far as Mathys is concerned, I'm really happy that he is here. He's happy that he's here. He's a really influential player coming off the bench. He's really a weapon. Having him, we know that we can turn games around with him. We know that what he can bring to the team, and he will probably start games during the season, but at the moment the question is whether we will do him a favor making him play a Champions League game from the start. But I think it's impressive the way he played. It was a bit unfortunate against Leipzig with a couple of chances. Now he shows us that he can assist goals, score goals. He's on the right path, and now it's important that we don't try to make 3 steps before the first one, but we have to appreciate the things that happen, and that he appreciates the things that happen, and he's in a good way.
Hi, Thomas. You talked about the standards of managing at a big club like Bayern, Chelsea, Dortmund before. Can you sympathise with Ten Hag and what he's been dealing with some of the higher profile players at Manchester United? And do you feel like he has dealt with them the best way? And is it important that the manager's voice is the most important one at the club?
I enjoyed a lot working in England, because the manager's voice is the strongest voice in the club by nature and by culture. So that was It was very nice to experience that, of course, and I will not comment on how he is doing, and I will never advise any coach and any colleague. I have enough to do with my with my club and with my team to keep everyone on track and to install our beliefs and install an environment where we all can grow and deliver on the highest level. That is what we want. We want to push the players. We want to assist the players. We want to guide the players to fulfill their potential. It is on this kind of level their game. It will always be their game, and the top players are the most greedy ones. The top players are the easiest ones because they do anything what makes the team come closer to win. So I think I never experienced the biggest problems with the big guys because the guys who lead the team, they know how they do it, and they have the sense of being good team players and influencing the team with their spirit. So it was always a pleasure to have them around me and to use them to create a bond and influence the whole dressing room.
Zu den letzten 3 Fragen bitte. Ja, yes.
Hey, Thomas, just talking about leadership. Harry Kane, as you said, is the England captain. I appreciate he's only been here 5 weeks, but have you seen signs during that period of his leadership skills, and will he become one of those kind of leading men in the dressing room for you?
There's no doubt, and it's also good that all of us speak English and speak English very well, so there's no lack of communication, no problems in communication. But listen, Harry is doing this since years and almost a decade. He had Tottenham on his shoulders for year after year, season after season. He was never hiding under pressure. He was never hiding from pressure. And he's doing it for so many years now for the English national team. And he's doing it in his style, his way, calm, humble, friendly, very impressive. And this is how he leads. So I think there's of course not one leadership style and not one leader that you have to be or you have to imitate to lead a group of football players. You do this in your very own style, and he is doing it like he does it, and he's not shy to do it here. But it's not that he becomes a totally different person than in the last years. He's the same guy, and that's why we wanted him so much to be the same guy. Be humble, be nice, be friendly, but be reliable, show personality when it's needed, be calm under pressure. That's what he does.
Auf der linken Seite Klaus Bergmann für die DPA.
Would you talk us through the personal situation? Coman and Guerrero were part of the practice today. Will they be part of the squad tomorrow? You were talking about Kimmich with the 60 minutes, and he had a reaction. Will there be a time limit for tomorrow as well? At this time, not. As far as I know, that everything went well, but I will be back at the practice facility right away. So I don't think there will be a time limit, and I hope that it stays that way. Kingsley will be part of the squad tomorrow. After missing out against Leverkusen, for Rafa, it's too early. He had 1.5 practice sessions with the team, and he shows his quality in practice. But after such a long break, he was out for a month with a muscular injury, and it would be just not right to have him in the squad tomorrow. I think there will be one place available on the bench, not only mine on the bench, but in the 20 squad as well.
Sounds like you've got exactly what you were expecting and hoping for from Harry Kane. Have you got anything that you weren't expecting from him? What have you learned about him that you didn't know before?
It screams for a funny story, but I can't remember one right now. I'm not spontaneous enough now to remind myself of a funny story. So no, it's like you say. We got what we wanted. We got what we expected. I mean, we were following him for years so closely, and he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. He's a calm guy, and everything's good.
Dankeschön. Dankeschön. Thanks for coming. See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.